G'day Crow family and welcome to episode 70 of the Early Crow. Just me and Pratty today. Kiko's on the family holiday, lurking around Sydney. I don't even know where he is. He's been here, there and everywhere. Easter shows, out up north or southwest, wherever it is, Cronulla, wherever it is. But just me and Pratty today. So how was your weekend, mate? Easter weekend? Get up to much?
No, mate, I'd just like to say, firstly, shout out to Cadbury. My weekend's been sponsored by those little Cadbury hollow eggs, and they upped their game this year and upped it from a 10-pack to an 18-pack. So, yeah, I've just sweating bullets and eating chocolate 24/7. It's been great, mate. What about you? Has Cadbury been indulged in or what?
Yeah, not too bad. I'm more of a lollies man. I'm not a massive Easter egg man.
Yeah, fair.
Do a few, obviously, Cadbury chocolate eggs here and there, but I got him some lollies over the Easter weekend. Bit of Kit Kat last night, which was nice.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Easter's always a nice weekend, and it was a little bit different for me because obviously we don't get the long weekends and stuff. So I went and watched the boys yesterday, but fortunately get the job done. But yeah, we tried to bounce back this week against Gold Coast, who's coming off a loss. But
before we get there, and something way more important, do you eat Kit Kats? Are you breaking them? Are you eating the 4 Kit Kat or the Kit Kat chunkies?
No, the Kit Kat block.
Kit Kat block. How do you eat them? Do you eat them like reckless and go horizontal with the fingers and take them off the top, or you do 2 at a time?
I'm the break off and then even break the top off and really
right.
Yeah, really dissect it.
Are you an ice cream man?
Yeah.
So then you eat the chocolate around the ice cream, then eat the ice cream later? You'd be one of those operators?
Yeah, for sure, yeah. Like Maxi Bonds eat the chocolate and then the ice cream and the bicky.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Magnums, all that stuff.
100%.
For sure. What do you want to touch on, mate? Do you want to go AFL? We've got a big show. Before we start, we've obviously looking for a new sponsor. Makita's run out, thanks to their help over the last 12 months. But any sponsors out there looking to come on and support the show, feel free to get in contact with your email, which is, Pratty?
Yep, you can either go Instagram DMs as well. One of us will respond on there, or the earlycrowpodcast@gmail.com. We've obviously got our podcasts, the 2, plus socials. You name it, we can work something out, get in contact, and let's work on a deal so we can keep the lights on, as they say. Keep the running costs going just a little bit, but that's about it, mate. But yeah, let's start with the footy. Should we start with the Swannies and Port? Let's rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah, that's it.
You were grim. You were there yesterday. It was a little bit grim out at the SCG yesterday, Arvo.
Yeah, it was a bit frustrating, obviously, not out there playing, but that first half was tough to watch. Port defended really well and didn't allow our uncontested marks and things like that, what we usually try to do. Yeah, and they were pretty good. We were sort of a weird game. We won contested possession by, I think, 45 in the end, which is a really rare stat to win by so much and then not get the job done. So it's more on our execution stuff and disposal efficiency and going inside 50 and stuff. So obviously kicked a lot of points as well late in the game. I think we kicked 5 goals, 8 in the last quarter, but you can't leave it to luck sometimes. We didn't deserve to win, and they were too good in the end. They held on, and our first half let us down, which is unfortunate. But some boys stood up late. I think the super sub Franger was pretty good late.
Super sub, fuck me.
He had 3 goals and 13 touches in one quarter, so that was good to see.
14 touches, don't undersell him. Holy shit, what a quarter.
That was good to see. He obviously has been playing really well in the twos and come out and play well up forward. He's been playing defence, so he's a bit of a swing man, can go either end. But yeah, he come on and made an impact, which is good to see. And thought Hayden McLean was really good as well down forward. He kicked 2 goals, 4, but he made a good presence and would have liked to kick a few more, but that's the way footy goes. Sometimes you move on, and we go to Gold Coast this week, who's coming off a tough loss against the Tigers, so be a tough test.
I feel like, especially McLean early, he was a big link man, getting up and taking lots of grabs up at centre half forward and on the wing. I feel like if you could have executed going into the forward 50 a little bit more in the first half, it might have been a bit of a different game.
Yeah, that's it. Sort of what we spoke about. It's the first half. To Port's credit, though, obviously they defended really well and 100%. Stopped the uncontested marks. So because they did that so well, we weren't able to play our game, so you've got to give some credit to Port. But you sort of seen late in the game when we could spread the ground better and use the ball better. We were able to score, but unfortunately kicked too many points in the end. But anyway, that's the way it went, and full credit to Port. What else over the weekend did you notice in the AFL, mate? Pies on the it was Thursday night, was it?
Yeah, Thursday night. Good way to start the long weekend. We played good footy. Served it up to Brisbane, which is good. You just hope, from my point of view, we're just not peaking too early. Obviously, we had the loss round 1 to GWS. I thought we just played good footy across the park. I think when we're going at our best, teams can't score against us, and I think that's what we did well last week against you blokes. And then we've obviously done that well again. That was last week, wasn't it? And then we've done well again this week against Brisbane, just restricting scoring. And I think when you're having steel side bottom and blokes like that having a big impact, you do think to yourself, well, hang on, I hope that he's able to still be there in September, but he's done it the last few years, so you don't see why not. But you just hope that the Dacosses and Pendles and side bottom and all these blokes just stay fit. Ned Long, for example, you just hope he stays fit. He runs at 100 miles an hour, runs straight. But no, it was a really good game on Thursday night. I think the footy's been great this weekend.
Yes,
couple of blowouts, but competitive footy.
Yeah, definitely. Pies are definitely hard to score against. I think the number one defensive team in the comp. They're predictable in their game plan. They play it well and play that sort of skinny, long down the line game, and it's hard to score back through them. So they play it well, and they've got some good players in form, and consistency is key. They were quoted by a few journalists and experts that they're too old and slow, but I don't think that's the case. I think that's just experience and just very, very well drilled by McRae, and some experienced players know what they're doing every minute of the game, whether it's the dying stages or when the game's sealed, they know what to do. So they're going very well. They're going to be hard to stop, and yes, it is early in the season, but they're going well. Another one I thought I noticed was last night's game. The
man that came back in. Oh my god!
Yeah, he's not bad, is he?
Oh my god! When he lined up off the halfback flank to start with, I'm thinking to myself, what is Bevo doing now? Like, what's he got in store for us here? And then he just went and played bulk midfield minutes, and what did he have? 30 and kicked one, did he? He's a freak, isn't he?
I think he had 15 or something and 2 in the first half. Game was over at half time and sort of shut up shop in the last quarter, I reckon. So I don't think you realise how hard that is actually to do, to have that much time off. He hasn't played since they make finals last year.
They
might have went out in finals early, but he hasn't played for good 6 months. Come in and do what he did just goes to show how professional he is, how good he is at the game, and he's obviously, all the hype's been around Dacos, best player in the comp, and then he sort of put his hand back up and said, "Don't forget about me, guys." So he was unbelievable last night. Just got especially when they had Darcy go down, which is an unfortunate injury. Obviously got the good news today, which is good that he
great news.
He didn't do the ACL. It was pretty scary times for obviously him and his family. I think everyone in the industry as well, or even watching, you want to see the good players play, and it was pretty scary stuff seeing him go down. So some good news for the doggies and everyone watching that he didn't do his ACL, but he'll still be out for a few months, I'd think.
Are they a bit of a, I don't want to say bogey side, because I think that's being a little bit disrespectful of how well they're playing, but they genuinely have the ability to kick big scores just because of how quick they move the ball, and blokes like Kennedy and Fraser, and then Ed Richards going into the midfield, and fucking Riley Sanders linking on the wing. Same with that the debutant, not the debutant, or this year's one of the rookies. Is it Sam Davidson? He's been. I just think they're able to move the ball so quickly. They could genuinely belt up a few sides this year, I reckon.
Yeah, they've still got a fair few out as well, so
they're
doing well. They're hanging in. Hey, Trelaw.
There's one more.
Obviously Jamara, but I don't think he's coming back.
Jamara, yep.
They've got a couple others.
I feel like there's another big injury from the doggies. I'll look that up while you keep talking.
It's going to be interesting to see how that forward line works without Darcy. Obviously, Norton stood up last night. I'm not sure who they'll bring in, but they obviously played really well last night. I think Ed Richards is a really good player for him as well. English does well, so they're going all right. The doggies, obviously, with the Bont back now, they'll go even better. Yeah, I'm not sure who they got next week, but
they got. Sure. I keep forgetting James Harms, Laith Vandermeer, and Cody Waitman. That's 4 that probably walk straight back into their side.
Yeah, definitely. Cody Waitman's a good player as well.
So they do have a bit of talent to come back. And then, sorry to roll back over it, but I think, do you think, and it might be hard for you to answer, but do you think externally people go, oh, the Swans lost to Port this week, they're middle of the bottom of the ladder, and now I think they're about 10th now. I just feel like there's a big perception that was a bad loss, but Port Adelaide just haven't also been playing their best footy to start the season. They've kind of linked it together for the last 2 weeks. Internally, Are you sitting there going, oh shit, we've been beat by Port? Or are you going, hang on, Port might actually be a reasonable side, and we've been able to be competitive with them and actually take a little bit of a positive out of it as well?
Yeah, well, you think Port beat the best, before last week, were the best side in the comp,
Mm.
Hawthorn. They've obviously had a few injuries as well. They got Butters back.
Yeah.
They've changed a bit of their game plan stuff. Rosie's gone back
Mm.
structurally, but their game plan sort of changed a little bit to last year, a little bit faster. They've got some good players in form. But yeah, I think it was sort of a weird game yesterday. You sort of, if you were beaten like in some areas that we like base our game off, you'd think, geez, we're a long way off it. But because we won contested ball by 45, we've got
Yeah.
the front half turnovers. I think the second half we were scoring, but we just weren't converting.
Mm.
There's a lot of things to say we're going all right, but you can't start like we did. The pressure was low. We
Yeah.
allowed them to score too easy, and we weren't scoring. So sort of tale of two halves. But yeah, with inside four walls, we was sort of one that got away, although we didn't deserve to win.
Yep.
There's some things we need to work on. We're not too far away. Like we're going all right. We're a good stoppage team. We just need to score some more out of those stoppages. And yeah, obviously got some injuries, but we've still got to be able to try and get some of those wins on the board with a few out.
Yeah. Is it that cliche saying that the highs are never too high and the lows are never too low? If you actually sit down and have a look into it, yes, you lost yesterday, but there are some really key positives to take out of it. And then the same as when you win, like, yes, you win, yes, you might be winning well, you enjoy it, you still celebrate it, but you definitely don't think that you've conquered the game and rest on your laurels.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. The old saying, week's a long time in footy. You think you're going all right and you get shut down pretty quick. So yeah, it's definitely can change a lot in weeks. But yeah, we'll go again next week against Gold Coast for sure.
Yeah, love it. Was there anything else that caught your eye in the AFL over the weekend?
Obviously, the big game today. We obviously
Yeah.
won't have this all cut up, but I think it'll be a great game to sit down on the couch and watch Easter Monday. Not sure who'll win. Be a good game. They'll get 80 plus thousand there. Geez, I reckon it'll be pretty close. Hawks coming off a loss to Port away, and Geelong, who they played last week.
They played Adelaide and beat
Adelaide,
Adelaide.
they had a good win up there, so they're
They
in
did.
good
They had a
form.
great win.
Dangerfield's in form, so
Oh,
geez, I'd nearly lean towards. Oh, geez, I don't know. Flip of the coin for me.
yeah.
Oh, if I had to pick one, I'd go Hawthorn to bounce back.
Yeah, fair. I reckon I'm in the camp of Geelong just because I think they're another side that can genuinely put up massive scores against teams. If they're all fit and firing, like Bailey Smith has come in and just been an unbelievable pickup for them, and he's slotted in perfectly. Yeah, I think they might. It should be a cracking game either way. But yeah, I think Geelong might have them. The only other one that I wanted to touch on from the weekend, which was actually a good game. You sat down on Friday night, the late game, and you thought, oh, without being disrespectful, we've got West Coast v Essendon here. This could be a bit of a one-sided affair or a putrid game, but I actually thoroughly enjoyed the game, and good to see Big Peter Wright back in form as well.
Yeah,
Kick the ball in front of a forward that can mark it. They're fucking hard to stop.
he doesn't miss too often, does he?
No.
He kicks the ball beautifully. Can kick it 60. So yeah, it's a good sight to watch when a key forward's up and going for sure.
100%, mate.
All right, mate.
Do us for
AFL. That's about it for AFL, I reckon. Now the golf. Yes, it was a couple of weeks ago. We haven't had an episode for a week or two, but did you sit down and watch much of the Masters?
Did I? I made sure that the parts that I missed, I made sure I went back and rewatched. Is the Masters the best golf tournament going around? There's only one answer.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. With Flemington straight. I don't
How
think
good
anything.
was it?
And just because you can get up early and you can watch it sort of like the last sort of 9 if you're really keen, which was good. I think that's a good thing about it as well. So when you're watching the British Open or something, it's always during the middle of the night. But yeah, I think the Masters, the hype around it all, how difficult it is, just the build up, was one of the best Masters I think you could say for a long time. I think how close it was to a playoff. Rory sort of started a bit slow and then kicked again in that round 2, and that sort of saved him. I think there was a stat out there. He's so good late at the Masters, but he's been going really poor the first 2 rounds, and wasn't poor in round 1, but he sort of double bogeyed late, and then bounced back in round 2, so that got him back in the lead. And then that round 3 round, he was on fire, and I think he was 5 under through 4 or something, was he, in that round 2 round, and that sort of got him going, and then he hung on. But yeah, it was a great tournament for sure.
Great for his confidence and the way he played to hopefully to do more, because he is like, yes, he hadn't been able to get that Masters title, but he is an absolute great of the game. He obviously was the lead man for the PGA for a long time when Liv first broke out. Like, I think if you watch any of the Full Swing docos, you could see how much of a toll it did take on him, and just more the fact that he didn't, like, yes, not all golfers just go there and switch on, then play golf, then switch off, but he's not switching off at any point in time. He was back in the PGA and talking about prize money and having to talk about Live 24/7. Like,
Exactly.
he's an extraordinary golfer. A big congratulations to Punts, who's probably backed him for the last 15 years to win the Masters, and he finally got the chocolates. It looked very wobbly when he called him home at, what time was it, about 4 a.m. on Sunday morning in the middle of the third round, said it was all over, and you just knew that there was going to be a twist and a turn. But I think that's the best part about the Masters, is that, like, there's never really like one bloke that just tears away and goes, all right, you're completely home. You know what I mean? Like, you knew going into the last round, there was like 4 blokes in contention: Bryson, Rose, McIlroy, and the name's escaping me, who were genuinely in contention. Blokes are double bogeying out of nowhere. Rory's laying up on that par 5, and then to chip it over the water to land on the green. He tugged it right. Like, the shot on 16 to land it on the green was just outrageous.
That's absurd.
It was just, it's the best golf tournament. There's always something going on. And I think because I reckon people would have really admired what Tiger did more back in the day if the TV quality was as good as it is today. Like, you basically watching it in 4K vision, and how undulating those fairways are. It's just like, it's remarkable. I can't hit the ball when it's on a flat lie. Like, and these blokes are bending it around trees when the ball's below their feet. It's phenomenal golf. But yeah, what a last round. And when he missed that the putt on 18 to seal it, I thought it was all over. I thought there's just no way Justin Rose has got this in the bag. Like, but to come back on, was it what player foul was it?
Nah, because he put
Rose. That's right. Sorry.
He put it within sort of 15, and then Roy sort of made it closer, and he just put it in. It was it was clutch. But it was good to see him win. He sort of had a bit of pressure on him all over these years and the choking and stuff like that. But no, it was good to see him win. He's sort of a bit of a family man now as well, so it was good to see him win for sure.
Yeah, he's got a Grand Slam.
As Lodbrock will be. Is he going to get there?
Oh, here we go. We are recording.
Big Jimbo, he'll be happy with this one.
Kieran Maher, 3,000 metre camel race, pissed in. Easy as you like. Easy as you like.
Jimbo will be happy.
He would have taken it too. He probably would have taken some sicko same race multi as well, which I know that you and Cruss are also fond of as well, which is great. That do us with the golf, mate.
Yeah, it does. Well, as we've just touched on the race, it's race 4 at Sandown. We'll touch on the Sydney Autumn Carnival, Melbourne Carnival as well. Where do you want to start? We'll start. We'll go through the 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, and then wait for age and a few trainers.
Yeah.
The 2-year-olds. What are your thoughts on the 2-year-olds this year?
Firstly, mate, we have to start with Nepotism's win on the weekend.
We'll start with Randwick on Saturday.
That was, if we're talking 2-year-olds and we're talking wins, like, I don't think, basically, bar one race, nothing was further back than about 5th in run and won all day, and it was stone motherless last out in the cheap seats. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, you sort of not count the midways because they're just donkeys, but from race 3 onwards, the only horse to come back from further Jimmy Starr sort of was 7th in run, but rails in run and sort of cut through. But there's nothing all day that swooped and ran on. Huge run. I
want to ask you, is that the 2-year-old win of the autumn for you, you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon for sure. I think I reckon they're all pretty. It was luckless in the Todman. Probably should have won. And then went to the Baillieu.
Yeah.
Second up on the heavy when it was cancelled. Won very nicely there, and then on the weekend just showed its class. And I think that was the run, like you said, the 2-year-old run of the autumn, sort of separated from the Tempted, your Vin Rocks, your Wotons, because they were all pretty close sort of finishes. No really 2-year-old sort of took it by storm. Like Mahuna was good in the slipper,
It was very good.
but was very well suited, and then went for his break. Devil Knight in the Blue Diamond, went to the slipper as well. But they're all pretty sort of close, except for Nepotism that blew them away on Saturday. It was sort of good to see one sort of take it and go on with it. So it'd be interesting to see where it can go in the 3-year-old season in spring.
Can I make a outrageous statement that maybe the best 3-year-old out of the crop didn't race against the 2-year-olds in those big races this year? Sydney Swans down in Victoria.
Yeah, well, I reckon even he probably the best 3-year-old might have not even ran yet for the spring.
True. I just really like the way that Sydney Point put him away twice down in Victoria. It started at a Pakenham Maiden where it landed in a coffin. It was held up in the straight and it fucking like literally obliterated them. It absolutely kicked their heads in, and then went to Caulfield, was basically not suited, was back and just picked them up and lapped them at $1.40. Like, I wonder if because they've taken the easy road, the Hayes boys, I wonder if they think that this horse could be something and they've not wanted to thrash it early, knowing that it might mature a little bit more and it might be a really, really good 3-year-old. I wonder why, with what it did at Pakenham that night, where it literally just kicked their heads in and they just didn't aim up. They just kept it to Caulfield, went to still a 2-year-old race. It was still a stakes race, still a listed race. But I wonder if they've just kind of kept it out of the limelight and it might be a pretty good 3-year-old.
Yeah, well, you do see it a lot. Like you look at Lady Shenandoah, did a race as a 2-year-old in the Queensland Carnival, sort of against, like didn't run in the slipper, didn't run in those things, sort of took its time, and comes out and goes really good as a 3-year-old in the autumn, and a 3-year-old in the spring. Autumn Glow, he's obviously Waller's been very, very careful with that horse. Similar, that didn't run in any of the 2-year-old races in the autumn last year, so it's probably is a good way to look at it. It's going to be interesting to see how. I think Tempted has had a huge prep.
Yeah,
I think it's 6 or 7 runs, was it? It's been massive in every run, so it'll be interesting to see how that horse comes out of it. Vin Rock was lightly raced, probably had 3 runs, was it?
Yeah, I reckon so. And then just went, hey,
Yulong,
here's a little bit of cash. Can we take it from you, please?
That's I Am Invincible. That's probably going to be you think that the most expensive colt around in the country at the moment. With the way that breeding is, won the sires. So, anything other from the 2-year-olds, mate?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm not a big 2-year-old watcher, but in terms of, it's probably not something that groups me the most. I'd much prefer to either look at horses that have had a fair bit of exposed form and whatever, but the 2-year-old season, whilst everybody keeps saying that it doesn't have the quality and whatever, I was genuinely looking at every one of those races after you'd seen them all run once or twice going, there's actually so many horses here that might run well, and I found that the racing was really competitive the whole way through, and even the Spruik on Woderton, like, does that come back a better horse? Does that furnish out and become a better horse as well? Like, I think I saw the other day that it basically has run the exact same way that Animo has run, and does it become the next Animo? I'm not saying that it does, but the 2-year-old season definitely gripped me this year. It was a fantastic Autumn Carnival for the 2-year-olds, and I can't wait to see what they're like when they become 3 and we know them a little bit. What was the horse that Dicko really took the liking of? Was it in the Blue Diamond? Was it Military Tycoon? Tycoon, was that the horse? It'd be interesting to see what that horse comes back like. He was really, really, really bullish on the way it ran. So, yeah,
United States was another one as well.
Yeah,
tipped it out.
Oh, did they end up tipping it out? I couldn't remember it running again.
I reckon sort of was like luckless. Its first up run was really good.
Yeah.
And sure it drew wide and things like that. But it'll be interesting how that comes back for Waller. Yeah, it was United States Waller, yeah. But it's good. It was wide open 2-year-old season. We look forward to the spring.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Should we go and then touch on the 3-year-olds? What was the favourite win of your of the 3-year-olds looking at it this year?
Geez, I reckon these are the horses, isn't it, that's going to take like your Lady Shenandoah, Treasure of the Moment, Aliana. Autumn Glow didn't get this opportunity to win a Group 1 and go on with it. He's been very, very patient, Mr. Waller, with that horse. You can't go past Aliano, I don't reckon, in the derby against the boys. It was very, very good. Absolutely brained him. Would have loved to see it against Treasure of the Moment. I reckon it would have definitely gave Treasure of the Moment Winburn, in my opinion. I thought Treasure of the Moment was blessed in the Oaks slowly run race, up on speed. Did what it had to do, but
I was about to say, do you think we would have seen the best of the horse had it been in that race though? Aliana, if Aliana was in that slow run Oaks, do you think we would have seen the best of it?
I don't know. It's just sprinted pretty well in the derby the week before, and then the week before that, it nearly chased down Broadsiding over, what was it, 2,600 metres. So, I'd have Aliana over Treasure of the Moment. Lady Shenandoah did what it had to do, overcame wide draws, picket fence, didn't lose. A fair few were writing it off, including me. Not writing it off, but didn't think it could win from that sort of wide draw at the price and ended up winning. So
a Zed Lloyd special.
Yeah. Well, it might have been J-Mac that day, but...
Oh, it was J-Mac that day, wasn't it? Yep.
But what about you, mate? Anything pop up?
Yeah.
What was your favourite win out of the sort of the 3-year-olds?
It is a little bit off-centre, but I thought Evaporate in going across New Zealand as a 3-year-old and then coming back and winning, was it the Carbine Club? It's not a number that's going to rate through the roof, and who knows where we'll see this horse. Do they aim up at another Cox Plate or whatever it happens to be? But I thought going to New Zealand for the NZB Kiwi, I think the race was called. The slot race, yeah. And then coming back, like that's a pretty big effort for a 3-year-old to do. To be able to be prepped up like that and go across the ditch and then come back and win one at Randwick. I thought that was a pretty tough win from a horse that had done a bit of travelling. And then one that's real left field, because I can be like that sometimes. I thought, if we think back to Bendigo last Saturday, we haven't had a potty, but the ride on by Luke Cartwright was just 10 out of 10. But I thought Manalo Bling's win at Bendigo, it was only an open race over 1,100 at Bendigo, but I thought that was a pretty smart win by Manalo Bling. It was eased down at the line. I think from the 8 to the 6, it did a 10.56. From the 6 to the 4, it did a 10.64, and then did an 11.08 4 to the 2, and just completely blew the field away. So might be a horse that we can follow going into the spring, depending on where they aim it up at, if they're looking to go into Group 2s and Group 3s. But it was a horse with a bit of ability early days. We know Dicko was really keen on it. It was good to see it come back. I mean, the market just absolutely smacked it that day too. But yeah, there's two off the beaten track a little bit. I thought, Evaporate coming back from New Zealand was pretty good, and then Manalo Bling turning up to Bendigo and getting the job done was pretty good as well.
Nice, mate. Evaporate puts itself on speed and beats Swift Falcon, who, he's under pressure. The old Swift Falcon, isn't he?
I think he's most under pressure from one Jay McInerney. I think that's where all the pressure's coming from. He was not a happy camper on Saturday, was he?
He wasn't. You got to be careful diving into the horses. Although he did get on speed, but the SPs have been strong. Gets back. Although it was on speed on the weekend, but maybe it isn't just as good as they thought. Like, it's still a decent horse, but like a Group 2, Group 3, like you're still going to be happy with that sort of horse. But
maybe it's
obviously
it's not a 2,000 metre horse.
Yeah, well, it's sort of a good debate, isn't it? You could probably talk about it all day. It's placed in a Group 1 over 2,000 metres, but it didn't win. I think 1,600 metres is better, but I don't know. If it's placed over in a Group 1 of 2,000 metres, there's a bit of an argument there, say it can, but hasn't won, so you can say it can't. But I don't know, go on all day, mate. But
and then if you look at that race as well, it was 0.7 a length within Broadsiding and Aliana, which are two horses that we've just spoken about as well. Like,
and it was that day it did that. It was like a wide sweeping run around the turn, went real wide at the corner, went early. So I don't know. On its day, I think it gets a nice run in transit, not too far back. I think it can get 2,000, but probably just going into weight for age now, so it's going to be tough against the good horses. Speaking of weight for age, we'll start at the top, mate. Via Sistina.
Oh,
Unbelievable again.
how good was it? Like, as just a spectacle, I had a small bet on it just to have a bet on it, basically, which is always a good way to punt. But that was just outstanding, wasn't it?
Yeah, just the whole prep. I think the Apollo Stakes was slowly away, not suited, held up slightly over 1,400 metres. Then goes to the Very Elegant against Fangirl, wins that. Goes to the Ranvit, pisses in there at $1.22 if you don't mind. Little tick over. And then goes to the Queen Elizabeth, where got a fast tempo, which I don't think any horse is going to beat her and to get the fast tempo, and just brained him to buy on a good in second. But unbelievable prep, unbelievable horse. Has won how many Group 1s now? I think it's 7.
Is it 7 or 8? Yeah, 7 in the year.
Yeah. Unbelievable. J-Mac, Waller and Via Sistina combo is very, very good.
Yep. They're not. They haven't been talking about it, but I genuinely hope they do go around again and do aim up at a Cox Plate. I haven't heard of any rumours about retirement, but I hope the horse is sound, because that just. I mean, I love the Cox Plate each and every year. It's one of the best races going around, and probably because it's on the doorstep, and it's the one that I went to when I was 16. But like, if it's in the race, there's already so much intrigue going into the race with it running, you know, and then you add in an international or two if they can get them across, and it just makes the race so good. It's I think on that Saturday, if you were a Via Sistina fan, you were absolutely blessed that Haggis had Dubai Honour in the race, because without Dubai Honour in the race, what SP is it starting $1.50, $1.40?
$1.50.
Yeah, it was that was a phenomenal win. What a racehorse.
Yeah, very, very good. Hopefully she goes around again, and you'd think, why would you go around again? One more Cox Plate would be nice. Probably can't really. I suppose you could make some more money with the broodmare, but you can keep getting the Group 1s under your belt. And then obviously one of the other girls is Fangirl. Huge. Won twice this prep through 4 runs. Could argue probably her best prep, although didn't get all the wins she would have liked. But I think the last 2 runs have been huge. Although hasn't put the numbers, like the figure, I suppose, on the page, but just the way she hit the line and against the pattern in the George Ryder, then come to the Queen of the Turf and was too good at $1.75, $1.60 even. Back not suited and was too good. What do you think, mate?
I got a question for you. And being a Group 1 race, they're more likely to fan and more horses are going to be there to win, so you do get those gaps. But do you think we see the same criticism of J-Mac if he didn't get it done, even though he did? Like, if he runs up an arse, the whole of the world's blowing up about his ride, aren't they?
Yeah, but you live and die by the sword. He didn't.
True. No, that's true. I mean, and it's all if buts and maybes, isn't it? But I don't know. I freak horse. I think we because people our age were so in tune of seeing the Black Caviars and the Winxes just literally go out and win. And I mean, Via's almost in that mould now. Not like those two, but like. These superstar horses don't have to win every race to be superstars, and I think you're right. I think the start prior to the Queen of the Turf, great run, and well, did it dead heat? No, it just lost to Gringotts, didn't it, in the George Ryder?
Just lost, yeah, and it was huge, massive.
Yeah, and then it's run within 0.4 of a length to Via Sistina over 1,600 metres. Like it's a freak of a horse. It could have easily won 4 or 4 this start. The furthest it's finished back is 0.4 of a length in 4 starts. Like, yes, it may not be putting the numbers up, but you can only do what you can do. And with a horse like that does sit off the speed, it can only go as fast as horses are going in front of it. Nice to see it put some numbers on the board. But yeah, great racing, great horse. Amazing that I can't believe that the treasure of the moment via Fangirl Multi was the biggest losing bets on tab ever. It's funny to think that, isn't it? Like,
hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? It's like, geez, what What do we should have just absolutely chucked those?
Yeah, I mean, you would have been bricking them if you're on Treasure the Moment as the first
Oh,
leg at $1.20 or whatever it was, $1.30, just absolutely shitting bricks. But um, yeah, great racing, great horse fangirl. The weight for age races this autumn have been just awesome. There's been angles galore. Even what Steffi getting the job done as well, which ran second to
yep.
fangirl. Fuck, how good's that horse been going this prep?
Yeah, it's good. Bourne, we'll touch on him later, but
Mm.
just getting the job done. Steffi will come out in the spring and definitely challenge a few horses for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Um, yeah, so another sort of the other weight for age, sort of the ones that are coming through that are gonna the sprinters, I suppose, for the Everest and what other big races are in the spring. But the main sort of, I reckon these horses might probably stay in Sydney because of the Everest.
Hmm.
Does Jimmy Starr see go fresh into the Everest because he flies 1,200 meters fresh and then goes second up to 1,300 meters or 1,400 meters or whatever?
Mm.
You've seen he's better over 1,400 meters sort of later in the prep, but he's definitely got that huge figure in the Oakley Plate. Yes, it was a very fastly run race, and the first up absolutely flies. 5 starts, 4 wins. Do they go fresh to an Everest, which is going to be a very, very hot run race? They'll go hard early. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Ma does there. But do you go to an Everest fresh? It's a tough race. What do you reckon?
It's I know we've spoken about the Everest a fair bit too, but shit, it's already shaping up to be a great race, isn't it? What happens if they go a little bit left field and throw a horse like Overpass in as well, just to inject a little bit more speed?
Yeah.
I don't know if it can run in the Everest and then go over there and just win whichever race it wants to win in Perth yet again. And Bjorn obviously likes getting over to Perth and enjoying himself over there. But Jimmy Star's a really, really interesting one, I reckon. That win in the Oakley Plate was crazy, fresh. 11:06, 11:04, 10:88 finishing post. That is absolutely flying, and I just think it just adds another layer into what PVL has done to make one of the best races going around as good as the Cox Plate, really, when you think
Yeah.
about it. Like, if you do get a good full field of horses, if you're getting Steffi, maybe Overpass, you've got Ying Rising coming, you've got Briasa,
I've
you
got one left field that might even win the Quokka. Headwall, which was flying.
Headwall, that
Sits
definitely
off
adds
him.
another dimension.
Um, which which is running really well. Matty Smith trains, goes with the Quokka around at $5-6 against Overpass. That could come and go right as well.
Yeah,
But I
it
think
sets up to be a great race.
I think the Everest sort of just keeps sort of Sydney involved in the spring because it's always down in Melbourne, all the big races, but it just keeps Sydney involved a bit more with the Everest and horses coming to Sydney. I think that's what's so good about the Everest
Yeah,
and what PVL does so well.
agreed, mate.
The other two that probably will be in that race, Private Harry and Briasa. Private Harry's an interesting one. They spell it, you're long by. And interesting to see how Nathan Doyle gets him going again. Briasa obviously a little bit disappointing over 1,400 metres on the weekend. It was suited as well. So how does he come back for the spring? 1,200 metres or 1,400 metres. We'll soon find out how they go. But I think that Private Harry puts himself right up on speed. Versatile as well. Can go back, but Private Harry just goes one way, and that's forward. So he'll be on speed and a chance for the Everest for sure.
And what about the one that we haven't mentioned that almost got there on the weekend as well, Jolie Star? You're telling me Jolie
There's
Star's
another
a
one.
huge, huge contender going into that Everest again? It was luckless last year,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
fuck, it's had a pretty reasonable prep.
Bloody oath, that's definitely a horse that we've forgotten to mention. Jolly Star was massive down the straight in the Newmarket,
Yeah,
was
in
it?
the Newmarket. Yep.
There's another one. I reckon, the spring's really, really going to be good this year. There's a few horses coming through, a few weight for age horses that are roundabouts as well. So
Yep.
look forward to it.
And the best part about it is we've got Queensland coming up as well to lead into it. Hopefully, the weather's been diabolical up there recently. They've had meetings cancelled left, right, and centre. So hopefully for their winter carnival, we get some, even if they're soft tracks or whatever it happens to be, hopefully they just don't get that deluge of rain. I know the reason why it's at this time of year is that they usually don't have as much rain. I could be mistaken there, but I feel like their reign's more over the spring and the autumn period. So hopefully they have a great winter up there, and who knows what we might see. We'll obviously have the JJ Atkins, we'll have the Stradbroke, and we'll see what horses put their hand up to run well in the early part of the spring, because it does happen. These horses travelling down north from Queensland in the winter carnival do happen to bob up a little bit at the start of the spring. So
Definitely.
I can't wait, mate. We've got football cranking right up. There's a little bit of a lull here in Sydney and Victoria in terms of the racing, but we've got the Quokka this weekend to look forward to. We've got obviously the Brisbane Winter Carnival, and then before you know it, there's
Comes around quick.
the 2-year-olds are stepping out again at the trials that were 2 that are turning 3, and you're already getting excited to look at the Spring Carnival. I can't wait, mate. It's you think things are over once the Autumn Carnival's done, but by the time you get through footy and these horses start stepping back out, all of a sudden it's the middle of spring again.
Bloody earth, another month and 2, and we're back on.
100%.
Good. Probably the last thing we want to touch on the racing is a few trainers that sort of start over the autumn. Any that you want to mention off the top?
There has to be one that you mentioned, and it's not only for what he's doing on the field or last leg of quaddies on Saturday, but B Baker, mate. They said there was a lot of people saying that once the big races come around, he wouldn't be involved. But I mean, Steffi Magnetica won. You've had horses like Sandpaper, Arapaho. Actually, fuck, that is a race that we did not touch on, the Sydney Cup, mate. We need to go over and have a discussion of that. That's absurd, the number that they have run.
Yeah, it's just a huge training performance. I think Arapaho hadn't run that distance for a few preps as well. Born was on speed. Arapaho as well, and was just tough and ran away. But yeah, it was a big number, and it was a good race. I think I reckon Athabaskan looked alright about 400 metres mark. I was like, gee whiz, here we go. Are we on here or what? And then wasn't to be. But
you've read my mind with what I was about to say there. I thought, here we go. I thought for sure we were in the running, and that there was going to be a huge chance that we were going to at least see it place. And then what was it about the 150 metre mark? You were like, it's just not picking them up.
Yeah, they absolutely. Who let them up? They've gone that hard to the
Al Alicants, or however you say that.
The race has gone 23. Hang on for the class. Let's go to the class. 17 lengths faster over 3,200, and Arapaho wasn't too far away from that speed, so it's a very, very good win. Al Alicants, obviously the query was for 3,200, but when you go into that speed, I don't think it's going to run the strongest 3,200. Not many horses would.
Yeah, it's funny. On there's a comment on Arapaho's last run in the Sydney Cup back in 2023, and all the comment says is stays.
Really?
Yep. So Dicko, when he's been doing a little bit of a review and having a look at the Sydney Cup back in the day, the comment is literally stays. That's it. It's the only comment. So. Funny, but no, what a great race. It's going to be well weighted in a Melbourne Cup, but if it gets a soft deck, with how they've run that, it has to be a chance, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Melbourne Cups, you say it'd be a chance for sure.
Yeah.
Different. What do the Europeans come over? But although, who knows with the Melbourne Cup, 100. What was the 101?
It was more than that. It was 300 to 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, so long way away, but always a great race, and there'll be something that comes over and puts some interest into it for sure as well.
Yeah, but Bjorn Baker, mate, has to be the one that's mentioned. It's out of his last 12 months, he's had almost 50% of his horses place in races every time they go around. There's some races he has 2 and 3 horses in a race.
Crazy, isn't it?
He's been unbelievable. It's great to see him continue the run of form that he had leading into the Autumn Carnival and just really, really announce himself. I just think, he's done a phenomenal job with the horses that he gets, and he doesn't have a massive stable, and obviously it's probably going to continue to get bigger from here. But he's done well with horses, as I said, like Sandpaper, and not just because it won on the weekend, but that's come into his stable, and he's done really well off other trainees. And then he's got horses like Steffi and Overpass and Arapaho that are getting the job done in the big Group 1s as well. So, no, I think it'd be a miss on both of our parts. I mean, you probably would have brought it up if I didn't, but he's been phenomenal this year, and he's had an amazing Autumn Carnival.
For sure. Obviously, Chris Waller, don't need to touch too much on him. He's always have the good horses. He's still got the job done. You've still got to produce them and get them to the races and get them right and get them to win on their day. So he was obviously elite with Lady Shenandoah, Autumn Glow, Aliana. What else did he have? Via Sistina, Fangirl. But yeah, he's obviously thereabouts. Matt Laurie's a good one, I thought. Had the Vinrock and Treasure the Moment. Pretty good he's just a niche trainer. Sort of has his, what do you reckon, how many horses do you reckon he had? Maybe.
Oh, that's a good, I don't know. Look that up.
He doesn't have a lot, I know that much, but to come to Sydney with 2 horses and to get the Sires and then obviously the Oaks with Treasure the Moment, the Sires with Vinrock, so huge training performance for him. Up from Melbourne to get him travel over, niche stable, was really good for him.
Yeah, I think if you have a look into his last year, Matt Laurie, he has only had, if I could bring up the stats here, in the last 12 months, he's had 333 starters for 62 wins at 18%, almost 19% strike rate. He does have another reasonable horse that I'm forgetting the name of. What's the other one that he's got? I'm just trying to scroll because he won obviously 3 Group 1s. I think it was this autumn.
It wasn't that horse that got taken off him, was it? Was that him?
I can't remember. It might have been. The other one that I think's got a little bit of ability. It's the one owned by Yulong as well. That Soft Love that won at Caulfield. Yeah. That looks to be a reasonable horse, and I mean, geez, we backed Thames out of that race, mate, on the weekend. We won't go there on that ride, but that looks to have a bit of ability as well. Winning a Bendigo 64. It won its maiden at Kyneton, then he put it straight away, and then come out and won Bendigo and Caulfield. That might be a reasonable horse for him as well. And what do you know, Mr. Zhang owns another one.
I reckon the other one was obviously Hawks. He has got a few good 2-year-olds. Won the Diamond, won the Champagne on the weekend.
There's a shout that we didn't say. Devil Knight. That was a fucking tough win as well. That was a great win.
Yeah, he's got a few. He's obviously got Briasa, Nepotism. Federalist will be interesting to see how that comes back in the spring. It's obviously spruiked a fair bit. Devil Knight. So I think they're started to go all right, the Hawks. They've got a few, obviously not as big stable, but they've got a few coming through. The other one that's actually sort of really going well, won the Slipper, Michael Freedman. Over the last 365 days, he's striking at 19%, which is 3rd in Sydney, behind Bourne Baker and Lyndall Olsen, who's only had the obviously 24 runs. So you sort of count that out. But Michael Freedman's going really well, had the Slipper winner. And yeah, I just think they're going really well. Over the last 90 days, he's actually striking better than Bourne Baker, and he's going at 35% POT, which is pretty good going over the last 90 days. And they're obviously a little bit of smaller training, not as big as Wallers and the Mars and the Gay Bots. So they're going all right as well. So anything else other than trainers or overall the racing, mate? Yeah,
I'm waiting for you to give me some credit for Saturday. Are we going to talk about that or what?
Oh, the quaddie?
You're welcome. Anybody who took the Sydney quaddie on the weekend, you are fucking welcome.
P-Rat is all over it.
Yeah. What did you do? You sent me the numbers on Saturday morning, and I might have added in a couple. I added in Marzu and Sandpaper. So if you got the quaddie, just think in the back of your mind, don't go, geez, Paps have done well getting the quaddie there. It was a
I actually got a few messages as well. So
did ya?
I was claiming it all, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. I would be too. Trust me. If everybody knew that it was me putting it out there, I wouldn't be giving you any credit. So
the question is, did you take it?
No, I did not. You know
There.
what's funny? I reckon I've taken almost every one recently too, and Saturday just got away from me. Kid being a turd. Speaking of setbacks galore here, he's taken a really fun liking to taking turds in the bath. So,
Fuck.
after watching what was two of the sicker beats at the end of Mornington on Saturday, I then had to fish a turd out of the bath. So it's unbelievable that the turd wasn't the worst of the three sickening things that happened at the end of Saturday. Being what were those two horses on at
Oh,
Mornington, mate?
I don't want to talk about them. War
Oh,
Machine
War Machine and
and
Prancing Spirit.
yeah,
They were the end of multis everywhere. I thought it was
yeah.
already Christmas going into them, but yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, no, I did not take. I usually just take them for $50, no matter the spend, no matter if it's a $300 quaddy or a $10 outlay quaddy. I just have 50 on, and I was wrapped when I saw Sandpaper just trucking through the field, but then I was like, oh, you
No.
absolute moron! I have not taken it, but anyway,
It's
these
good.
things happen.
We bounced back on the weekend, that's for
Yeah,
sure. Well, I was trippy up, but Vico was big and landed a double there as well that you set
landed a
up on the.
double. Yep.
So it was good. Obviously, always nice to bounce back after a quiet week the week before.
Yep.
But what do you reckon, mate? It's nearly us, is it? Anything else we need to touch on?
100%,
Episode
mate.
70 nearly
Mm.
wrapped up. If you want to get involved, sponsor the show, get in touch by Instagram or Pratty's email.
Yep. The Early Crow
We've mentioned
podcast at gmail.com. Get involved. We're cheap. We don't ask for much. If you want to get involved, you can get on our socials, get on the podcast. We can promote your brand where you'd like it. Still waiting to see any cash out of the Dim Sim King, but that's all right. We'll keep plugging CTW excavations because they go where the big boys don't. But yeah, if you want to get involved, get in touch and I'll get back to you shortly. But perhaps, yeah, I reckon that just about does us.
good, mate. Episode 70. Thanks for listening. We'll be back on Thursday or when it'll be out, Thursday or Friday for Captain's Run.
Yep,
Hopefully,
depending
you
on
have
when
a
we
few
do it.
winners for the weekend.
Yep. Good luck,
Bye
mate.
for now.
Enjoy.